You know exactly what you need to do to grow your business. So why aren't you doing it? You know you should be reaching out to potential clients. You know you should be posting content. You know you should be following up with leads. But instead, you are reorganizing your files. You are tweaking your website. You are consuming another course. You're trying to get another certification. Anything but the thing that you would actually get your clients. Here is the truth. Knowing what to do is easy. Most early stage entrepreneurs can tell you exactly what they should be doing. And yet, they're not focusing on that. The real challenge is actually to do that. And in this video, I'm going to show you why this happens and how exactly you can fix that. Last week, we spoke about how to know what exactly you should be doing to speed up the results. But knowing what to prioritize is only half the battle. In fact, it's the easier half. Most early stage solopreneurs can tell you what they should be focusing on. They know they need to follow up with leads. The real challenge, the place where many coaches and consultants get stuck, is actually executing on those priorities. Because the activities that grow your business are usually the ones that feel most uncomfortable. They require you to put yourself out there. They require you to overcome rejection, face your fears, face your limitations, and do things you've potentially never done before. So your brain, in order to protect you, finds very creative ways to keep you busy with other things, safer things, things that feel productive but don't actually move the needle. This is where execution comes in. And it's not about willpower or discipline. It's about understanding why you're avoiding what you need to do and having strategies to move forward anyway. Let's talk about the two biggest enemies of execution: procrastination and lack of focus. People often confuse procrastination with lack of discipline or laziness. But here is what research shows us. Procrastination is less about managing time and more about managing your emotions. When you procrastinate on business building activities, it's usually because you're trying to avoid a negative emotion. Fear of rejection, so you avoid sales calls. Fear of failure, so you don't launch your program. Fear of judgment, so you don't post your content. Fear of unknown, so you don't try that new marketing strategies. Feeling overwhelmed, so you don't start because you don't know where to begin. I'm not sure whether you've read a book called Solving the Procrastination Puzzle, but it's a really good one, so check it out. The author of this book says that the main reason why we procrastinate is because we're trying to avoid that negative emotion attached to the activity we have to do. Once you understand this, everything changes. Because now, instead of beating yourself up for being lazy or undisciplined, you can identify the real problem. There is an emotion that you're trying to avoid. So look at it and work with that emotion. It's a very practical tool. You just have to train your mind to apply it every time you capture yourself and raise your self-awareness that you are in the moment procrastinating over activity you should be doing. Step 1, build awareness. The first step is simply noticing when you procrastinate. You know you should be working on the lead magnet, but instead you are researching for the 10th time where suddenly the lottery becomes urgent, or you decide now is the perfect time to reorganize your entire email inbox. The moment you catch yourself that you're procrastinating, pause. Don't judge yourself, just notice. Oh, I'm procrastinating right now. Then take the next step. Step 2, identifying the emotion that you're potentially trying to avoid. Now ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid feeling right now? And be specific. It's not just I'm scared. Dig deeper. I'm scared that if I post this piece of content, people would judge me and no one will engage with it, which will confirm that I'm not good enough to be a coach. Or I'm scared that if I reach out to this potential client, they will say no, and I'll feel rejected and feel like failure. Once you've identified the specific emotion, you will win half of the battle because now you can work with that instead of running from it. Step 3, reconnect with your why. Now ask yourself, why did you want to become a coach or consultant in the first place? Why did you decide to start this business? Was it to have impact and help people transform their lives? Was it to create financial freedom? Was it to create physical freedom from not having a boss and just running things on your own terms? Your why needs to be stronger than your fear. Step 4, challenge your avoidance. Here is a powerful question. How is avoiding this task actually helping me? How is avoiding that sales call is helping me to achieve results? How is not posting my content is helping me to build my brand? How is not launching the program protecting me? The answer is always, it's actually not. It doesn't help you, it doesn't protect you, it's not helpful in any shape or form. Step 5. Take the smallest possible action today. You don't need to complete the entire task, you just need to start. If you're avoiding creating a lead magnet, don't think about the whole project. Just open a blank document and write one headline. That's it. If you're avoiding sales calls, don't think about your conversion rate or whether you're going to close the deal and sign the client. Just message to schedule the call. Action creates momentum, and momentum dissolves fear. What I've actually noticed is that fear lives in ambiguity. When you're not clear on the outcome and what you should be doing, that's where fear actually starts to get bigger and bigger. The moment you start adding structure to your life, the moment you start taking one foot in front of another and taking action towards your goals that you've prioritized for yourself, fear becomes smaller and smaller. Now let me share with you one of my favorite productivity concepts that directly addresses procrastination. It's called Eat the Frog First. Mark Twain said that if you have to eat a live frog, do it first thing in the morning, and everything after that will seem easier. For early stage entrepreneurs, your frog is usually making sales calls, or sending messages and doing outreach, or launching or refining your offer, having pricing conversation with your consultant client, and doing another business proposal. These are the activities you most want to avoid, and it's exactly why you should do them first thing in the morning. Do your frog first before checking your emails, before social media, before any maintenance tasks, before any distractions. When you do the hardest thing first, you build momentum and confidence for the rest of your day. And you get that sense of achievement that you've accomplished your MIT and what you've said you're going to do. Let me give you an example. I worked with a consultant who always avoided follow-up calls with potential clients. He would push them to late in the day, then late in the week, and eventually the leads would go cold. We moved those follow-ups the first thing in the morning. He would sit down at the desk and he would be following up with those clients. He actually was able to close quite a few from those follow-up messages. Before we talk about fancy productivity techniques, let's talk about the foundations of focus, your physical and emotional state. As a coach or consultant, your brain is your primary tool. You can't deliver transformation if your brain is foggy. You can't create compelling content if you're exhausted. You can't have effective sales conversations if you're running on empty. So here are 4 non-negotiables for your focus: sleep, food and drink, exercise, and your emotional self-regulation. If your basics are not working hard, it will be very hard to build anything on top of that, of the foundation that's falling apart. Now let's talk about how to structure your focused work time. Research by the Drogem Group found that the most productive individuals work in cycles, approximately 52 minutes of intense focus, followed by a 17-minute break. I personally operate in deep focus blocks myself. I've trained myself to have 5 of those per day. I think 5, it's pretty intense. I suggest to my clients they do 3, and 3 is pretty manageable. So you have 3 deep focus block modes, an hour of hard work, 45 to an hour, then following with 15 to 20 minutes break after that, when you do either low energy activities or maintenance activities, or you go for a quick walk, or you have a cup of coffee. So something that disconnects you from the previous intense work on your priority tasks. Let's be clear about something. Multitasking is a myth when it comes to focused work. Neuroscience research shows that only 2.5% of people can multitask effectively. The rest of us lose around 15% of our cognitive efficiency when we switch between the tasks. I multitask friendly activities, like something that you can easily combine, listening to a podcast while I'm doing administrative tasks, or brainstorming ideas while I'm on a walk. Single task only activities. These require your full attention. This is, for example, writing content. So when I'm writing content, I'm absolutely in my deep focus mode, not distracted by anything else. It's working on my sales offer. It's preparing for my client work. When you are doing activities that require creativity, strategic thinking, or deep connection, be present. Give it your full attention. Your quality will dramatically improve. In his book Indestructible, Nir Eyal explains that the antidote to distraction is traction. Knowing where you're going and having a plan to get there. This is why scheduling is so powerful. When someone asks me, Anna, how do you avoid wasting time on social media? My answer is simple. I work from a schedule. So everything I have in my day is usually scheduled in my diary. I do have breaks scheduled in my diary as well. And during those breaks, I can scroll through social media, I can go for a walk, I can have a cup of coffee, I can chat, but then I go back to my schedule and focus on what I plan to do next. So here is your action step. I want you to really be committed to your business development the same way as you're committed to doing the work for your clients. Working on your business, sometimes even more critical than working in your business. If you haven't watched my video on other time management principles and frameworks that help you stop wasting time on unnecessary things and build right systems to achieve results faster in your business, check it out. Next week, I will share with you my 10 mistakes that I made in my first year going all in for my business for you to avoid those, or at least to minimize the impact of those. See you next week. With care, Anna.